Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is going to be a year-end review on Sonlight Science. So we'll be reviewing this today and showing you guys some of the books. Hey friends, welcome back to today's video. I'm excited to be giving you guys my thoughts and perspective on using Sonlight Science Core D this past year and showing you guys some of the books and giving you guys my thoughts on different books. And yeah, make sure you stay around to the end and I'll show you some of my boys' favorite books from science and the different things that they enjoyed, experiments. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Sonlight and how it works, it comes with this big binder, and I also have my History Bible literature in here from Sonlight, so that's why it is so big. But the science is in here too, and we have it divided in weeks, and this is Core D, which is typically thought of as a 4th grade level, but it can be used 4 through 7, I believe, 7th grade, so you can bridge it with multiple ages. I used it with my twins who are in 4th grade this year. And if you're not familiar with science, with Sonlight, how they have it set up, they come with everything, the schedule all printed out for you, and you can pick 4-day or 5-day-a-week schedule. I have the 4-day schedule here, and this tells you what to read on what day and what to do, and then it will tell you the supplies you're going to need for the science experiment and what we provide, what you need to provide, and they also will do the shopping planning list for next week. And then down here they will have like day 2, maybe there's something they want to point out to you as the teacher. Day 3 they'll have notes, then here's the answer key, and then over here is the worksheets, the activity sheets and worksheets, and they're in color. They used to be black and white, so that is a great improvement. And yeah, they tell you which questions to do on what days. And then usually the 4th day is a science experiment, and I will show you the experiment box and the experiment book over here next, or a little bit later on. And yes, up here it always shows you which week you're on, and there is 36 weeks of curriculum, 4 days a week. So if you end up doing it 5 days a week, it can take you can get done shorter, or if you split it up, get behind, take some time off, maybe it might take longer, you can make it work for you. So this is my working binder. I showed this in my other video when I did my year-end review of Sonlight History Bible Literature Core D. So I have a working binder, and I'll put in about a month's worth of curriculum in here at a time, and this is my science, so I have like the weeks together for the History Bible Literature and the science. And then this here is really easy to carry with me and keep in my morning basket. If we end up doing school somewhere else in the house, or leaving the house and doing school somewhere else, it's easy to carry with me. Science also comes with a 4th grade experiment packet, which is nice cardstock papers, and there's a whole packet, and they are papers like this that you keep track of your data chart for the different experiments. And each experiment is a little different, so each one's set up differently. Sometimes they have you make predictions and then do the experiment and then see how it came out. Sometimes you have to, I don't know, it's all kinds of different data charts that you keep track of on your papers. But they're nice, good quality, and you can use markers, or get a little wet and it won't bleed through. Okay, now onto the best part about this science is that it's a literature-based science. Let me show you the stack of books. So this right here is the whole stack of books. So I go into a lot more detail about the thinking Sonlight has maybe behind their science, what they talk about in the introduction of it. If you want to watch that video, I will have it linked down below. It's all about Sonlight Science Core D. So be sure to watch that one if you want to hear more about how we navigate the books when they talk about like evolution, or the Earth being millions of years old, or different topics like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through this stack and kind of give my thoughts on the different books and show you guys them. So we're going to start with the Usborne Encyclopedia of Planet Earth, and I really like Usborne stuff. I think it's really great. This is an internet linked one, and it has beautiful pictures. We did this one back towards the beginning of this school year, and yeah, it has great pictures in here, a lot of interesting facts. My boys really liked the ones that are about animals and some about the Earth. They enjoyed some of the weather ones too. There's some pretty amazing things about the weather. This one is Mysteries and Marvels of Nature. This is about animals, and my boys love this one. I talked about this one in maybe our mid-year homeschool update, but the boys loved talking about the different animals in here. Especially they like talking about or guessing which animal they'll be learning about, and then talking about like which one's stronger, which one's faster, and what amazing things the different animals had to defend themselves, or to fight with, or to protect, or to catch their prey, different things like that. They really enjoyed that. Okay, next on my stack is energy. These are not the order that we did the books in. I thought it'd be too hard to put in the correct order. But this is energy, and this is all about like kinetic energy and potential energy. And my boys, they really understood the concepts in here. My husband would ask them like, is this kinetic energy or is this potential energy? Or which one has more potential energy? The book on the bookshelf or the boy looking out the window way up high, which one has more potential energy, or comparing it to a roller coaster. At what point is there potential energy and what point is there kinetic energy? And so they really understood it well. The book did a good job of describing or showing it. It also talks about the sun, and they found that really fascinating, how much energy the sun is producing and how it has like explosions. This here talked about energy and how it kind of goes in big circles. This was kind of neat. This is a big fold out thing. It talked about energy and how it kind of goes in big circles, like it comes down to the earth, and then we use it in many different ways. And then a lot of it gets turned back into the atmosphere in heat or in sound or in multiple different ways. And so this was a really interesting thing just to look at, and the boys understood it really well. This here was interesting about humans and how much energy they use in a day, how much energy they use when they're sleeping. Yeah, that was fascinating. They were enjoying reading that and telling their younger brothers all about how much energy different things take. Even just thinking how much energy that takes. Okay, this one here was coding. This was one of my twins, both of them, their favorite books during this past school year. This was just a skinny little book, but my husband is kind of a tech guy, and so he was really proud that they were learning this and glad. But it teaches them how to create little games by coding, by using Scratch. You use these things down here, and you just go through and follow the steps. It has maybe 4 or 5 projects. It's not very many. When they got done with this, it had just whetted their appetite enough that they wanted more, and so they went on YouTube and found Scratch's YouTube channel and followed some of the more simple videos on there, how to create different things. It actually got to the point where we had to set time limits. Okay, you can work on Scratch for X amount of time, and then you have to get off, because otherwise they were just wanted to do it all the time and too much. Okay, the next one is the Illustrated Elementary Science Dictionary, and this one goes through and just talks about all the different things related to science, like a dictionary does. It even went through like the steps, the correct way to do an experiment, as if you're the scientist and trying to solve the problem. I like how it did that. We covered life cycles, microorganisms. That was kind of interesting to learn about. Habitat. So some of the concepts are more simple and some of the concepts are more complex. We covered biomes, we covered materials, hardness and flexibility, material and heat. We covered like metals, like copper, tin, iron, mercury, steel, bronze. The boys found that interesting. It's right up their alley. This here was about disposing and recycling, and I actually have an Usborne Lift the Flat book that kind of goes along with this, so that worked really well together. Okay, the next book was What Are Waves? And this here goes through and just talks about what is a wave, high frequencies, low frequencies, the vibrations that move in patterns. Yeah. So it's not a big book, but it's got great colorful pictures and helps the boys understand that. This is something my husband actually finds really fascinating, and so he would join in a lot of conversations, and like later on that day, maybe at supper time, and we'd talk about this. This is a DK Find Out Engineering book. And so you would just go through here and read what the instructor's guide tells you to read, 2 pages or so at a time, depending, and you can figure out like how different things work, like how a roller coaster work or how engineers work in space, different things like that. Here's the Wright brothers. Here's jet engines, which my boys found this really interesting because they have flown before from America to Cambodia back and forth, and so they're a little bit familiar with planes, maybe more than some boys their age. So yeah, lots of great stuff was in that book. Okay, the next book is Hedy Lamar's Double Life, and so Sonlight every year has a biography that you usually study of a scientist, and so she was a famous like movie actress, but she also had kind of like a double life. She was a visionary scientist. So Hedy collaborated with another person, and they came up with innovative technology called frequency hopping. It was designed to prevent the enemy from jamming torpedo radio signals and commanding weapons to go off course. So frequency hopping is still what we use today to keep our messages on our phones private. And so that is, I found this book really interesting, even myself. My boys liked it, but I found it interesting too. Okay, the next book is Engineered, and this goes through and covers 9 different feats so it shows like engineers at work. So for example, aerospace engineering, 7 minutes of terror, an epic assignment. And then it goes through and talks about it and has a lot of pictures, team member bio. Here's the next one, the ultimate print job. And then here's the next one, double A idea. So this was really interesting and fascinating. Most of the time I would read it aloud to them. There was once or twice where I read it quietly to myself and then would summarize to them. Not so at home on the range. Okay, and then the last book on my stack was the experiment book. This here is created by Sonlight, and it has all your experiments in here with really detailed pictures and instructions on how to do it. And it always will go over like what the key concept is, what they're supposed to learn, prediction questions, and then it has questions at the end. And it always have a section that you can go further if you want with the experiment and learn more about it if you enjoyed it. So this was a really great book to go along with the experiments. This here is the experiment kit that comes with the Sonlight. So it has most everything in here you need. That way you don't have to run around your house and try to find the things and make sure you have them. So we have used up a lot of the things. There's like little bits and pieces of things that are left in here. Some tape. There's, yeah, just a couple of things that we didn't use all of them up. Sometimes I wouldn't realize, like there was a plastic cup, I wouldn't realize it was in here, and I had gotten one of our own from our kitchen and later realized that, oh yeah, it does say it has a kit, it has a box of plastic cup in the kit. But anyway, I would definitely recommend if you're going to do their science to get the kit. It is optional. You don't have to get the kit. If you want to get the supplies yourself, it is cheaper. So it depends on your budget. But I think that if I didn't have the kit, I would quicker just skip the experiment being like, well, I don't know where this is, or I don't have that, or yeah. Anyway, so that really helps to have the kit. I definitely would recommend it. So all in all, what did we think of Sonlight Science? So I would definitely give it a thumbs up. My only thing, if I have a negative, and this isn't really a negative, would be that I wish it wasn't every single day. I wish we could do it like maybe 2 or 3 days a week, and I could. I'm the teacher, I can make it fit my schedule. So what I'm thinking about doing for next year is possibly combining 2 days into one and 2 days into one. And then I would have just science 2 or maybe 3 days a week. And then that way it's not every single day science is left to do. One thing I often did with the experiments this past year was I ended up doing them on Saturdays, or sometimes I'd skip it one week and then we do 2 on the following Saturday. That way, sometimes at the end of a homeschool day, it was just too much to try to fit in an experiment yet. Everybody was tired, everybody was just ready to be done, including me, and to try to set up and learn from the experiment was just too much, or I didn't have time. And so if I dedicated like 2 hours Saturday morning, and knowing my husband's going to be here to help me or something, planning it ahead, so on a Saturday when he's home. And then another thing that helped with that is like on Friday, making sure I have everything I need set up, maybe taken out of the kit, even setting it up on the counter or in our schoolroom on the table. And then that way Saturday mid-morning, when everybody is done with breakfast, we're done cleaning up, then it's easy to come into our school area and do the science experiments, and extra great if my husband's able to come in and do it with us too. So I did a video showing you guys some of our science experiments, so you guys can go watch that video. I'll try to link it down below in the description box. If not, it's on my YouTube channel. And it shows my husband helping with some of the different science experiments, and you guys can kind of get a taste of what they're like. And yeah, my twins enjoyed science, and like I said, the coding book was definitely their favorite. And then after that, they liked the experiments. They love the experiments. That is also one of their favorite things. And if I'm like, hey, this week we're gonna skip the experiment and do 2 next week, they're kind of like, oh, bummed out. They like the experiments, but they're okay. Like as long as we still do them, they're happy with that. So yeah, that was my only challenge, was trying to have time to get the experiments in. But I was always really glad when we did do them and made the effort to do them. So I would give science a thumbs up, and we enjoyed it this year. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.